I've had 7 jobs in my life, and I'm only 22. I started at age 15, which means I've had 7 jobs in 7 years. To say the least, I have lots of work stories. My first job was at an indoor play area for children with inflatables and an arcade. I would just go around and tell kids to stop running and try to fix all the very old arcade games. This place was owned by a family man who made a slight mistake and bought the wrong toilets when they were building the place. He bought household toilets instead of the business ones. Apparently there's a difference because these toilets constantly plugged or broke down. One day, the toilet in the women's restroom got plugged and was overflowing with urine water. The place's manager fixed the toilet and was mopping up the urine water, but she had more important things to do than finish it. She called me in, gave me the mop, and told me to take over. I put the mop in the top part of the bucket, and as I took it out, I spilled the whole bucket over, spilling all of the urine water in front of my manager. I remember driving home that day, listening to Linkin Park's One Step Closer and buying a Starbucks. Another job I had was at a frozen yogurt shop. I worked there for a total of 5 months, but looking back, it felt like years. The owner, who had the exact Karen haircut, really came to like me, and she offered me a supervisor position after a few months. At first I said, I don't know, I'm not very good at telling people what to do. And she said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll teach you that. I naively said, okay, and then never got a single lesson for her. The job was stressful. I was the same age or younger than everyone I worked with, yet I had to tell them what to do. I hated conflict, so anytime they slacked, I would just do it for them. After a few months, I was stressed out every day. My nerves were fried. I started looking for new jobs, which is the time I got a job at a pet store. Finally, I gave the owner my 2 weeks, being ambiguous about the reason why. She later came in while I was working and asked me why I was leaving. I told her I found a higher paying job at a pet store. She looked me in the eyes and told me my niece worked there and hated it. I said, oh, I guess I'll see. A few years later, while working at the pet store, her frozen yogurt shops all went out of business. Needless to say, I'm glad I switched. Job I held for the longest, 3 years, is a cashier/aquatic specialist at a pet store. One day, I was at the register when this woman comes up to me and asks to buy small crickets. If you didn't know, most pet shops sell crickets as food for reptiles or amphibians. So I go over to the cricket bins. We had 2 smaller bins with small and medium crickets, and then a large garbage can with the large crickets. But at this time, we were low on large crickets because of their high demand. So we were out, though no one had cleaned the bin yet, so there was a bunch of dead ones at the bottom, since we get thousands at a time, and not every one makes it. I start grabbing the small crickets, when this woman walks over to the large bin and looks inside. She says, oh, there's still crickets in here. I said, yeah, there's still a couple live ones, but most are dead. She then proceeds to bend down and use her bare hands to sift through the dead ones to grab the few that are alive. She comes back up with them clasped in her hands saying, these are alive. You can keep those. I have worked at 7 different places, 3 of which are gone, 2 of which are struggling. Remember that your mental and physical health are more important than any job and are likely to outlast most of them. If you're fortunate enough to have the resources to do so, take the time to find a job that is fulfilling work and cares about you. Thanks for watching.